Alright, so this is going to be me showing you that I was able to catch all 721 Pokemon. Now, what I mean by this is that I caught them all myself. I didn't trade with anybody at all during the process at any point in time, besides myself, to get all 721 different species of Pokemon. I was also able to catch multiple Pokemon if there were different forms of that one Pokemon, like Arceus, Rotrom, Unknown, and so forth. Anything that was considered like a permanent form, where you put the Pokemon in the box and you get a different icon, I figured I would catch multiples of that Pokemon so I can get all the forms, so I have one of every form. Like, for example, Charizard, the Mega Stones, I didn't catch like 2 Charizard and then put a Mega Stone on one and then have another one without the Mega Stone. Maybe that's something to do in the future, but for this, my goal was to catch one of every Pokemon and catch multiples of the same Pokemon if that one Pokemon had different permanent forms outside of battle. Now, I caught all these Pokemon starting in Gen 3, working my way up. Now, obviously, some of the event Pokemon I didn't catch myself since they're event only. I downloaded them from the event legitimately during the event when it was going on, or using the distribution cartridges that were used at the event. So I started in Gen 3, as I mentioned, and then just worked my way up, catching every Pokemon possible, starting in Gen 3, then going to Gen 4, Gen 5, Gen 6. I would imagine this would be a lot more easier to do if you started in Gen 7 and then just worked your way down. I don't think you need every single Pokemon game anymore to get every single Pokemon, but definitely in Gen 4, you still had to have the Gen 3 games to get all the Pokemon. Well, that may not be the case once they had Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but nevertheless, I caught all the Pokemon by myself without trading with anyone but myself, using multiple DSs, multiple Game Boy Advances. So I'm not going to go through every single one, but I either use Dylan, or my Japanese Ruby. It's like a different font style or something here, but I got it from a Japanese Ruby. I also was able to get, looks like here I forgot to put in lowercase, but it was me. Not Japanese Ruby. I was playing, I think, Pearl or Diamond, and I got Pokears legitimately, like you can see here. So that was neat. I got Pokears myself without trading with anybody. You see it's from my Japanese Ruby. So I'm not going to go through each and every single one. I'll just highlight the rare ones, the ones that have multiple forms. But I will show, so for example, this is from my Japanese Ruby. If you go into the summary page, the Hoenn region, travel across space and time from the Hoenn region. Even though this is my Pokemon Ruby game, it still has this text. This, I think, was from Colosseum XD Gala Darkness. So it says from a distant land. I think some of them from the Kanto region. So I got this from Fire Red and Leaf Green. This particular Pokemon. So that's those ones. The legendary Pokemon, Articuno. I think I got this from XD Gala Darkness or from Fire Red Leaf Green. You can get them there too. I don't remember which one I got them in. So this still has Pokeaurus on it, which I got from Gen 4, as mentioned. My Mewtwo, I got this from Fire Red or Leaf Green. I didn't catch them in X and Y, so it wasn't really a need to. So you can see the Kanto region. I have a couple of ribbons on it. So Mew, I got Mew from Pokemon Ranch. There is a Mew distribution ROM, which hasn't been leaked to the public yet. It'd be nice if you could get it, so that way you could get Mew in Gen 3, because there's not currently a way to get Mew in Gen 3 legitimately unless you hack or cheat. But so you can see here, the ones from Ranch say Haley on it, and for some reason it says the Sinnoh region, unlike Distant Land. So I think I got most of these in Ruby or Sapphire, the starter Pokemon. Yeah, you can see it's my Japanese Ruby. I believe once you caught all the Hoenn Pokemon, you would get the starter from Johto. So I got these guys in Gen 3. I didn't get them in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I was actually able to accomplish this with only Fire Red, Leaf Green, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. No, I should take that back. I think you don't need Fire Red and Leaf Green if you have XD, Gala Darkness, and Colosseum. It's like one of the incentives for getting Colosseum and XD, Gala Darkness. It gets you some of the version exclusive Pokemon between Ruby and Sapphire and Fire Red and Leaf Green. So it's one of the benefits of getting those games for the GameCube. It gives you access to some of the version exclusive Pokemon in Gen 3. So I don't think you really need both Fire Red and Leaf Green and Ruby and Sapphire. I think you just need one. And then XD, Gala Darkness, and Colosseum. I didn't use Heart Gold or Soul Silver to get any of these Pokemon. I had Diamond and Pearl. There wasn't a need for Platinum. I do have that game. And then I had Black and White. You don't really need Black 2 or White 2. And then X and Y. You don't really need Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire to get all these Pokemon. So that's the games I used to complete this task. I would trade with anybody but myself. You probably don't need all those games anymore. But that's what I used to get all these Pokemon. You can see here, I have all the unknowns. A, B, C, D. I think there's like 27, 28 different versions. I do believe I got this in Fire Red, Leaf Green. In the post game. Yeah, so you can see here, Kanto region. So there's the rest of the unknown. Now these guys, I think I got these ones and the either Fire Red, Leaf Green, or XD Gala Darkness. Most likely XD Gala Darkness or Colosseum. I don't remember which one. Okay, so this was from either Colosseum or XD Gala Darkness, since it says from a distant land. Same story with these guys. I got them in either XD Gala Darkness, Fire Red, Leaf Green, or Colosseum. I think Colosseum has the dogs, so not XD Gala Darkness. My Lugia I got in Gen 3 from XD Gala Darkness. I also got the Pokeaurus on it when I transferred it over to Gen 4. My Ho-Ho, I got this in Gen 3, so I didn't use Heart Gold to get it. I got him in Colosseum. I think if you get like all the Pokemon purified, and then you go to the mountain and you defeat 100 trainers, you get this Pokemon. It says Metal on it, the original trainer. For whatever reason, it says the Hoenn region. So that's kind of weird. It doesn't say from a distant land. Celebi, I got the Celebi not from the bonus disc, although the bonus disc would be more valuable. I think I got this from Pokemon Bank when Pokemon Bank was released. So it says Pokemon Link, but getting him in Gen 3 is more important because you can get more ribbons on it, and I believe certain moves even that you can't get otherwise. So that's all those ones. These guys, I think I either got from Ruby, Sapphire. This one was from a Japanese Ruby, so it must have been from my Sapphire or my Emerald. You can get both of these. This one was from my Japanese Ruby. I think this was from Sapphire or Emerald. This one I think I got from Emerald. My Jirachi, that's my Wishmaker Jirachi. I got him from the bonus disc, which you've seen in my other videos. Deoxys, I got this from 2008 at the GameStop Deoxys, which I had the distribution cartridge for. I actually got this legitimately back in the day, but I guess there's no difference whether you use a cartridge or you actually got it back in the event. So it doesn't say Pokemon event, it says Sinnoh region. I do have all forms of Deoxys, so it's important to get all 4 if you want the complete collection. So these guys I got from Gen 4 games. Rotrom, however you say it. I got 1 of each form. It's important to get 1 of each form. Giratina, there's 2 different permanent forms. Well, I guess not really permanent, but you put an item on it and it changes form. And it keeps that form unless you remove that item. So I got 2 of those, so I could have 1 of each form in my box. Fione, I think I got Manaphy Egg. I think I got Fione from Pokemon Ranch, so it says Haley on it. This was from the Manaphy Egg from Pokemon Ranger. This one, I think this was from the 20th anniversary distribution. Also 20th anniversary distribution. I do have the distribution cartridges. Same with this one. So those ones are more important because you can get the ribbons on it that you can't get otherwise. So I have multiple. These are all different, as you can see. So this is 6, 12, 16. I have 18 different ones because there's 18 different Arceus. Well, semi-permanent forms if you get the items for them, which I don't have on the moment, but basically it changes color and it changes type. So I got all different Arceus, so that way I can have 1 for each type. Victini, I got this Victini from the 20th anniversary distribution. I do have the Liberty Pass distribution cartridge, so that cartridge is more important than this one because you can get them in Gen 5, allowing you to get access to ribbons and possibly moves that you can't get otherwise. So that's all those ones. Let's see. The Dare have different forms. I forget what this Dareling. So I got 1 of each form because there's different forms. I think I forgot to mention in Gen 4 there's Burmy. Oh, Sheldon. I do have Shellos, whatever. Both forms of those. I want to try and find. Here we go. So these guys have different forms. So it's important to get 1 of each if you want the complete collection, which I did want to have. So going back to here, I don't think I've showed these guys yet. These guys have a red form and a blue form. I got one of each. Basculin. These guys here, I think I got this in Gen 6, not Gen 5. But I do have the distribution cartridge for Zoroark to get him in Gen 5, which is more valuable, because then you can get the ribbons. So these guys, I should probably show the jellyfish Pokemon. I got one of each. Color variant, which is actually a permanent variant. It's not reliant on an item. So here, these guys, I got one of each. I don't have them in the different form at the moment. That's one thing I have to do. But I do have one of each, because they do have different forms. I do have 2 Reshiram, 2 Zekrom, because you can fuse one into the other. So if I did fuse the 2 together, well, not these 2, but one and the other dragon type, which I'll show you in a moment, I wanted to always have at least one. So if I did fuse them together, I would still have one to use if I wanted to. And 2 of these guys, which have different forms, as you can see. This guy, Kyurem, I have 2, because like I said, I wanted to be able to fuse one and then have the other one still in my box, so I have all forms. I have 2 Keldo. I don't have another form at the moment. This was from the 20th anniversary. For this Keldo, it can change forms if it knows a certain move. I do have 5 different Genesect. I don't have the hard drives on them at the moment, or whatever they're called. But it's important to get 5, so that way you can have all forms if you want them. Now, I guess really I don't have all different forms of this Pokemon, but I do have the special event ones, the Pokeball one, and the whatever pattern you want to call this. I don't think it's really reasonable to try and capture myself by going to the different countries to get all variants of it. It'd be neat if I could, but I just don't have the time for that, or the funds to. So this one's summer 2014. This was GTS. Now these guys you can't get anymore unless you had the game during the event. So an online present, that's neat. So that's kind of important. Those 2 species, or I guess variants, you can't get anymore ever. Well, not necessarily forever. But so these guys, they do have 1 of each Flabebe color. So I wanted the complete set Pokemon. The evolved form, 1 of each color. And the evolved form of that, 1 of each color. I do have all sizes of Pumpkaboo. I wanted the complete set. I do have all sizes of Gorgageist, because I wanted the complete set. I do have 2 Hoopas. The Mac Hoopa, which event only. But since it has different forms, lovely place. I wanted 1 of each, or 2 different ones, so that way I could have both forms. This guy, Diancie, event only. I got him. This was before the 20th anniversary. He wasn't included in the 20th anniversary distribution, actually, but I got him from the event. And then I got this guy, also during the event only, Volcanion Helen one. This is the one released in the States. And it says Love Your Place Bashful. So that was a bit of a long video, but I do have all 721 different species and most of the different forms. I don't have Vilvion, all those forms. I do have some shiny Pokemon, which I didn't show. So I don't know what the next step is to build upon this. Would obviously be to go through Sun and Moon and get all those Pokemon, transfer all these Pokemon to Sun and Moon. But I may want to hold off on that because I have Volcanion here and I want to get those ribbons on him. So I don't know if I necessarily want to do that yet at this point in time. And I don't think I can get any more Volcanion in Gen 6 because the event is already over. But I do have the distribution cards that you scratch off and it gives you the code. So that is something to consider. I may want to keep these guys here in Gen 6 until I get the ribbons on them. Another possibility is I could get one of each gender, male, female. I think all those are female. But obviously the female is more valuable because you can breed with it. So that's this video. Thanks for watching. Like I said, this took a lot of time. I caught them all by myself. I didn't trade with anybody but myself. And I caught all the Pokemon in the generation you could get them in. The first generation you could get them in. Besides some of the event-only Pokemon. If you have any questions for me, go ahead. Feel free to ask. Thanks for watching.